Hello, everyone. I'm James Roberts. This is my life, and these are my stories. Hello. Welcome back. So glad you've joined me for episode number 2 here. We're in January. As a performer who has spent a lot of time in the theater world, this is a time of year that is often associated with a lot of stress. Lots of auditions for summer stock gigs happen at this point of the year, and I am usually very, very stressed at this point. This year is a little different. This year is a little bit different. I'm being very targeted with what I go after, very specific. And so I'm not quite as stretched in a billion different directions and not really worried about what's coming up. You know, what's going to be is what's going to be. I know the stuff that I'm going after. I know what I have to do for it. And I'll be ready when the time comes. So that's how I'm approaching it this time around. I really, really don't have the headspace for a lot of stress and negativity and excess concern. I'm trying to put my focus on other things, like this podcast, which I'm so glad you're listening to. And it's funny, I think I'm just less concerned, or at least more targeted, because I'm older and, you know, talking about age and age differences with dating and things like that. I was with this guy the other day, and we'd been interacting via the direct messages on Instagram, and he'd sent some videos, some videos. And I was like, oh my God. And there were like a bunch of them in a row, and I didn't realize that the videos on Instagram disappeared. Like, I knew that was a Snapchat thing, like when you were Snapchatting, like things. I'm not a Snapchat person, obviously, as you can tell by how I'm talking about it. But I knew that the videos and pictures disappeared on Snapchat. I didn't know that that was a thing on Instagram. If you get a message in your direct messages and it's a video, it's gone after you look at it. And so he sent me a bunch of videos and things and pictures. And I was like, oh, these are cute, but they were gone. And I was like, oh, this is what they do. And when we met up, I told him, I was like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. And he was like, yeah, that's a thing. And then later, after, things had progressed and we were just in bed, and he asked me, how long he's been here and when did he get here. And I look at the messages and I'm like, I don't see a timestamp. So I'm like, I don't know. And he grabs my phone and just slides his finger over the screen to the left, revealing this column of timestamps for all of the messages. And I'm like, yeah, I'm old. I felt very old in that moment. Just like I will feel when I tell this story. So let's go ahead and get into it. I have a confession to make. I am a failed marketing major. I graduated with a marketing degree, but I've done nothing in sales at least legally, ever since. I didn't realize that this major was not for me until the last semester of my senior year, when I took the required personal selling class and I found out that maybe 90% of your entry-level marketing positions were in sales. Not the marketing research or the promotion side of things, which I really enjoyed. It was all going to be sales. Direct sales, business to business sales. Is anyone else excited? Because I am hard just thinking about it. And I had this personal sales teacher named Dr. Camp. Katie Camp was how she'd introduce herself. Just to make sure you knew that Katie was spelled the right way, with a K, not a C. She didn't want to be associated with words that begin with C, like coffee. She drank tea. Cake. She liked pie. Clitoris. She preferred, I get that it wasn't 2020 and that she grew up in a different time, but in the South, you'd say about Katie, oh, bless her heart, she just can't find the right man. I'm sure she wanted to crush all the D in those baggy pantsuits and sensible black flats. But she'd tell us all about her home life and her pets. And I'd be like, oh, Katie, there is a girl out there just waiting to tighten your undercarriage if you just let yourself go. And I could tell she didn't like me. I was gay, I was out, and I gave zero shits, which was still a rarity among black males in the College of Business at the time. However, she had to acknowledge me because she had this tradition in her classes of always recognizing the person who got the highest scores on all the tests. And in terms of the classwork, couldn't nobody touch me. So when she'd have to call me out, I'd be like, thank you. Even though you don't like me, thank you. Even though you're marking me down on these mock sales calls, thank you. Now, the mock sales calls were the bane of my existence. The absolute worst. We had to learn about this web app that nobody would actually pay to use and then passionately present the assets and benefits to her as she played the most thoroughly disinterested client ever. This might date me a bit, but when I took this class, graduates could actually expect their first job to consist of voice calling, dialing numbers, and talking to total strangers to inquire about their needs and say, you know what? I think I got a solution for that. Why don't you let me come into the office and talk to you in person? 5 minutes of your time. It's all I need. And yes, I've just described a sleek yet sketchy YouTube video that you would skip after 5 seconds. Pretty much everything that was a huge point of emphasis in this class was considered archaic within 5 years due to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter becoming YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I didn't need a marketing degree. I needed an HD camera and pretentious facial hair. At the end of the semester, Dr. Camp presented me, the student with the highest overall grade, with a special gift. Tiny book filled with quotes, sayings, and tips about sales, meeting those sales goals, and dealing with rejection. And you know what? Maybe, just maybe, Dr. Camp knew what she was doing. In a way, she prepared me for life as an actor, selling an outdated, mediocre product to scores of ambivalent casting directors, hoping to find one that I could trick into paying for it. This has been Life Story with me, James Roberts. Thank you for listening. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe and leave me a rating or review in Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. For more information about me and what I'm up to, you can find me on Instagram at JamesRoberts96, on Twitter at JamesRob96, and on my website, www.jamesroberts.com. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon.